Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had fun.
Definitely. Well, I would love to have more people get to know you on the player side because the highlights are pretty incredible. I don't really know what I expected, but but it was all confirmed when I saw you like diving around the court at the pickleball. We need more of that content, Kaitlyn.
Yeah, Ben Johns always tells me, he's like, as soon as I saw that, I knew that you were terrible at pickleball. Like, you should never have to dive. You should never, like, you're in the wrong positions. You don't know how to play. So there's a lot of haters out there that still don't believe it. But I think with with a good coach, like I'm a great learner. I would do everything to learn. So I'm looking for a really good coach that wants to spend some time with me to take me from that low, like that 5.0 low pro level to like a mid pro level. I feel like I could get there.
Yeah, I feel like you're in a rough spot for it though. Jersey's not a pickleball hotbed. You know, there are plenty of people playing, but there's not a ton of like super high level competition. I was actually at a couple times at the Randolph Tennis Center. They've got some good low level pro players there and a good solid spot, but there's not a ton of pro players from Jersey.
It's very, very bleak. That's actually been a problem I've been facing recently. So everyone knows the trajectory of a pickleball player. You first start out, you're in your glory days. It doesn't matter who you're playing with, where you're playing, you're having the time of your life. Then you start to get better. You're in that 3.5, 4.0 level. Like, you're playing some tournaments. You're still having a blast. You might complain about your partner a little bit, but you're learning new shots. It's like amazing. I'm at the point now where, like I said, I'm like 5.0, low pro level, like can compete in like pro qualies, whatever. And once you're at this level, you no longer really want to go to open plays that much. You only want to play with specific people. You want to drill with good people that like are drilling to get better, that are working on shots. It's cold here like 6 months out of the year. So yeah, it is very bleak. Frank Anthony Davis, like an OG pro, is, yeah, I don't know, he's like 2 hours south. It's very difficult. We can meet in the middle at like a 1 hour spot. Actually, Kate Fahey. So Kate Fahey, I played with her for the first time last summer. She didn't know what pickleball was. And she played for the first time. And then I talked to her like a week later and she got signed with the PPA. And I was like, this is unbelievable. This girl has never even played a pickleball tournament yet. And she gets signed by the PPA. This is in the middle of the drama. But she moved back from New York City. So I've been drilling with her some. There's some good 4 or 5 guys, 5.0 guys, but nothing great. And what I've learned from being around the pro game so much is you get better by drilling and playing with better players that can test your hands, that you can, like, obviously you still want to play with people like your level and a little below you, but at the same time, Georgia has the fastest hands maybe in women's pro because she gets to drill with JW all the time. Annalie obviously is an anomaly to me. I just think she's incredible. But like the people that are playing with the pros and getting that consistent, really good play, really good drilling are the people that are going to continue to be great. And that's why a lot of pros are moving. They're moving to the hotbeds, Austin, Florida, maybe California. There's still some good players in Utah, like, some Arizona. Like, you can, if you're not in those locations, it's very difficult to get good, consistent play. I think the sport is just at its infancy, in my opinion. I was in Dubai earlier this year for the World Pickleball Tour debut, and Asia is going to absolutely blow up. China is going to blow up. It is going to be insane, and I think the United States is going to be I don't want to call it a small player, but I just think that Asia is going to absolutely take this sport by storm. They're huge into racket sports already, and they're just getting started. So I've actually thought, I'm like, should I just move to Asia right now and just, start doing a lot, because there are so many people going over there consistently to scout it out, to invest. And that's an area of focus for me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your recent travels? Because you've been, as you mentioned, like there are a couple other things. You had gone to the Katy Perry event in LA, Necker Island event, but most recently you were in Dubai for the launch of the Pickleball World Series, and then you were in India for the Monsoon Pickleball Championships. Like,
yeah, how was Dubai? Was it fun?
Dubai was sick. Thomas, how was Dubai?
it was interesting.
We had a fun night out. Thomas was like, "Where are we?" I'm like, "I don't really know, but everyone's talking about this place." Yeah, we had a very good time. Pickleball, like I said, I feel like it's just taken off there. We actually went to an indoor facility and we played some together, which was fun. I think that's the only indoor courts that were in Dubai. I'm pretty
think so,
sure.
yeah.
They were in this like small warehouse. And we played, what was that called? I don't know if you left before we played, but we played small
like
tennis.
Mini tennis, yeah.
Yeah, mini tennis. That was really interesting. Really softball. But yeah, I've been traveling all over. I went to India. India is where I really, like, it opened my eyes that the United States of America, even though it's the best country in the world, is going to be like, no one in the United States really understands what's going on elsewhere. No one understands how much focus is on pickleball outside of the United States, in my opinion. So going to India, seeing how many like they had a day dedicated just to women in pickleball, and I loved it. Like they had this tournament because, you know, sports for women overseas sometimes aren't just like, you know, people are not expected to play. So I love that. What else? India was just, it's going to blow up there. Then, you know, obviously there's a ton of focus on getting it into China. Steve Kuhn, I know, has been to China a bunch. I spoke on the Pickleball Minds conference. I'm going to speak there in January in Dubai. But they had a meeting in Hong Kong where they had leaders from all over China come. There's a bunch of people that are sort of, I think like Scott Moore's son, I want to say, lives in China and has been like focusing on growing pickleball in China for the last like year or so. I just met somebody in Major League Pickleball New York City when I was there watching, that is creating like a fund that's investing in all of China for pickleball, that's creating a bunch of indoor courts. So I just, you know, if you're deep in the know, you know that a lot of people are focused on Asia. And then, my sponsor, Yola, they are definitely focused on growing the sport in Asia. Tom Wynn just moved out to Hong Kong. So I think it's just going to continue to spread. I went to Chicago, like you mentioned. I hosted the Bristol PPA tour. I've been hosting a bunch. I've been getting a ton of requests for hosting, and I absolutely love to do it. So obviously I did the Katy Perry event. I did Necker Island Pickleball Forum. That's coming up again this year in February. I think February 27th it starts, which is like the best literal trip I've ever been on in my life. I think if anybody could go on a trip in a lifetime and I could grant that to somebody, like that is the trip to go. The hospitality is second to none. I'm a very outdoorsy person. Like I love to hike, bike, do water sports. Like I learned to kite surf, did the hardest bike ride of my life with Richard Branson and Drew Brees, which was mind blowing that Richard Branson's 74 years old. And I consider myself like pretty in shape. I'm very active. Like I work out all the time. And this bike ride was so difficult. And he did it with like ease. Apparently he does it like 3 times a week. But yeah, I've been going all over. I've been really enjoying hosting. That's something I want to continue to do. I just want to be involved in this sport. I can see myself being involved until like I die because I just love it so much.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had fun, yeah.